Ever feel like it's almost impossible to stick to a consistent running routine?
Don't worry, I've been there too. Hey, Jack here again, two-time marathoner who has a serious love for carbs. Today, I'm going to share 5 ways you can improve your running routine. Let's get into it. No matter what stage of running you're at, a running program can greatly improve your consistency as well as your performance. There are a wealth of running programs that are available online. However, not all of those are made equally. Most importantly, some of those programs may not suit your needs at this current point in time. Many times, we may experience some difficulties fitting our training into the chaos that we call life. So, it is a perfect opportunity to experiment and to find ways that we can make our training programs work for us. From my experience, I had the luxury in having my first marathon training program created for me. Huge shout out to my coach there if you're watching this video. The only thing that I had to worry about was completing them during the week, as each session was tailored to my current fitness levels at the time. For my second marathon though, I had to choose my own training program or source a coach. I ended up choosing the Hal Higdon Intermediate 2 Marathon Training Plan and tweaked it to suit my schedule and my needs. And I'll be honest, I was a little bit more adventurous than what the training program had scheduled, choosing to include quality sessions to work on my speed throughout the marathon build. But secretly, just wanted an opportunity to try out my carbon plated shoes before race day. As this wasn't my first marathon training plan, I had the ability and the foresight to modify any particular sessions to suit my current work schedule. The reasons behind doing this was I already had an established running base as a result of completing my first marathon, and the ability to understand what the workload would look like over the course of the program, allowing me to make changes gradually in case I experienced any hiccups. As we start a running training plan, sometimes we can experience a few issues. These include finding some of the sessions a little too difficult to complete, or still not finding a way to incorporate running into our daily lives. That's why it's important for us to identify what a maintainable training load is. If that means we have to modify our training plan a little further, then that's okay too. You're not defined by how many sessions you complete throughout the week to be called a runner. Each of us are running our own individual races. That's why I highly recommend experimenting until you find something that works. In my experience, training for my second marathon, it was about increasing the amount of days I'd be running from 4 to 5 days a week. And this change was a result from learning from my first marathon experience, realizing that in order for me to run a faster marathon time and to run the entire distance without stopping, would require me to run more days throughout the week. It took a while for my body to adjust, but once it did, I could notice a significant improvement in my endurance. The running base I established from my first marathon allowed me to sensibly increase the training load for my second marathon training. Particularly if we're training for an event, it is important that we keep the training load manageable. And if our running program is manageable, that means we can train more consistently and improve gradually over time. Consistency is an important factor to any running goal we may set. If we want to run for a longer time, we need to be running consistently. If we're looking to incorporate more mileage into our training programs, we need to be consistently running a certain mileage each week. From my experience, my ability to consistently train for my first marathon allowed me to get into training for my second one relatively quickly after the recovery period. My body was able to adapt to the training load that I put it under, work through any niggles or setbacks, and be able to have an understanding of what the training load would look like. I was able to knock 45 minutes off of my personal best time in my second marathon. This was because I was able to train consistently throughout it all. No matter how cold it was in the morning or how early, I was up getting my sessions completed throughout the week. The inner motivation to get up at those ridiculous times was a result of my experience running my first marathon. Trust me, consistency was key here. But in order for us to be consistent with our running, we must ensure we don't overdo it. That's why we need to ensure a majority of our running is completed at an easy pace. Even if your goal is to run 3 days a week, you don't suddenly want to be doing speed sessions for all of those 3, ending up injured after the first week. And if you're watching this while also currently training for a marathon, you too will know just how much we are running each week. Often hearing the 80-20 rule, where 80% of our running should be completed at an easy pace and the remaining 20% at a harder pace. Running easy is an underlying principle to running consistently. Personally, Growing up, I specialised in the 200 metre distance through high school, so coming in training for my first marathon was completely out of depth for me. But even as I started to see 9-kilometre long runs penciled in on Sundays, I had to swallow my pride and slow right down in order to control my breathing. Last year, I always used to obsess about running fast. However, learned the lesson that running easy is crucial to long-term running consistency. Most of my runs, apart from my quality sessions, were completed at an easy pace. Remember, progress takes time. And as we go further into our running journeys, we need to ensure we recover appropriately. And a key component to recovery is getting your nutrition right. Our bodies are incredible machines that require the right fuel. While a cheeky Macca's run here and there isn't going to hurt, we need to ensure we're fueling it with nutritious foods that allow us to get up and attack our next sessions. Personally, learning to fuel my body for a marathon was an entire 6-month experiment. I went from only requiring a protein shake after my gym sessions to suddenly requiring a protein shake, toast, and a banana before getting to work, and then needing another set of toast to get me through the morning. My body needed fuel, but most importantly, it needed the right fuel. This became more apparent deeper into marathon training, where I was required to take gels or chews to get me through my long runs. Proper nutrition before and during a marathon in particular is crucial. For my first marathon, I didn't carb load enough and only took 4 gels over the course of a 4.5-hour marathon, compared to my second, where I placed emphasis on carb loading correctly and consuming all 6 of my gels on the marathon. And achieving a 45-minute PB proved that this worked. So there we have it. Running consistently requires experimentation over time and learning from your mistakes to see what works for you, no matter what your running goal. Everyone can run on a consistent basis. If videos like this interest you, you may also like the newsletter that I've created down in the description below. Each week, I share a bit about my running journey, personal development, and my hopeful entrepreneurial ventures. If you're keen, feel free to subscribe to the newsletter down in the description below. I'm Jack, and I'll see you next time. Catch ya.